Guys, we finally have that beautiful hand cannon that we saw so long ago. The hand cannon called the Epochal integration. Now, we've been teased with this weapon since we saw the Lightfall key art, and after what we assumed to be production delays, we are finally receiving this weapon right at the start of Season the Deep. Thankfully, you will also be doubly rewarded for your time, as you not only will earn this new weapon, but you'll also get strand aspects for each class. That includes the Threaded Spectre for Hunters, Fletched Storm for Titans, the Wanderer for Warlocks. All of these will be looking to incorporate into builds here soon, so you want to earn these in case they end up being the strand meta. Now, you're going to need to finish the quest, Unfinished Business. This is the quest to get the exotic machine gun, Deterministic Chaos. This means you also need to finish the Lightfall campaign, and only once both of those are complete, you will then be able to visit Nimbus to acquire the quest, Parting the Veil. Now, the lore implications here are pretty awesome, guys, and this is essentially Bungie's way of kind of introducing us to some of those answers surrounding the Veil. Now, step 1, defeat Cabal in Neomuna to find Vex tracking data. You'll need 10 pieces of tracking data, but not every Cabal you kill will drop a data fragment. So it's going to take more than 10 Cabal final blows to complete. We highly recommend you just go to Ahimsa Park to complete this quest, as there are plenty of Cabal in this area. Now, step 2, acquire Vex data from Maya's Retreat. Now, this is very easy to locate. Just put on the tracker on your quest in your quest tab, and it will direct you to the bottom right of the Neomuna map. Once you arrive at the beacon, there will be a conflux that you'll need to clear of ads. And essentially, as you're clearing ads, this will unshield one of these harpies. Doing this for 3 times, allowing you to finally interact, thus completing step 2, which brings us to step 3. Acquire additional Vex data from the exterior of the Arcala complex. Now, this is where the location is, guys, but again, put the tracker on, it'll direct you. You're gonna essentially be directed to the Zephyr Concourse, where you'll then proceed further left on the map through several side streets to the Arcala complex. Just follow this path on the screen if you're confused. Now, you're going to arrive at the second complex in front of the Veil Containment Facility. Clear this area of ads and interact with the conflux once more to then begin step 4, which will be Parting the Veil. The mission Parting the Veil will become available next to the conflux you just completed. You'll travel through the Veil Facility, down to the Veil Observation Deck, and you'll listen to a recording from a former Ishtar researcher. Ton of great lore pieces here, guys. And then you drop down below the Veil where we fought Callus at the end of Lightfall, and you will have the Battle of Tormentor here to complete the mission. Pretty straightforward, guys, but again, you will be dealing with the Tormentor, so have some weapons that can deal some crit damage. I'm actually rocking Tommy's matchbook, as it just got its buff, and man, it is doing some hefty damage with ignitions. But yes, you do want to have a weapon dealing crit damage against these Tormentors. Now, number 5, meditate on your findings. Fast travel to the Hall of Heroes on the Neomuna, top of the map, and at the Puka Pond, you will be given the hand cannon Epochal integration. We're gonna go over the roles in just a second, but following this, guys, you can now go pick up your strand aspect at the table, and you can do this on all 3 characters, guys. The beautiful thing here, you do not have to do this quest on all 3 characters. Just do it once, and it's account wide. Doesn't cost anything, by the way. You don't need strand meditations. If it happens to cost something for you, though, please let us know. I know strand meditations were actually dropping throughout this quest, but no, you don't need strand meditations to pick this aspect up or any of the aspects on your other characters. Now, with that being said, let's talk about this hand cannon. Fellas, is this hand cannon meta? Now, first, I'm going to mention that Epochal integration is a static roll. It's also a 140 round per minute hand cannon, and its rolls consist of small bore, ricochet rounds, stats for all, and keep away in the same column, as well as incandescent and Eye of the Storm in the second column. Now, it has 2 origin traits. Harmonic Resonance, we're equipping multiple weapons from this set, grants this weapon increased reload speed and handling. It also deals increased damage versus Tormentors, Lucid Hive, and Guardians using their super. It's a nice perk, guys, but the other origin trait is my favorite, Nanotech Tracer Rockets. Landing multiple hits turns your next shot into a homing micro rocket. Now, for this hand cannon, guys, at least for me, it was roughly 5 shots, and you can actually amplify those homing micro rockets with these 2 artifact mods right here. We had them last season, they're back again this season, and they benefit a lot of different origin traits, but I definitely like them here on nanotech tracer rockets. With that being said though, how does this hand cannon feel in PvP as well as PvE? Well, first, let me talk about PvP real quick because I wanted to put it against some competition. We immediately loaded into comp. We went against weapons like Ace of Spades, Rose, Palindrome, and pretty much everything else amongst the meta. And this weapon really does struggle against hefty competition. Now, without Keep Away, this hand cannon starts to experience damage fall off at 30 meters. And with Keep Away, that's approximately 31 meters. Keep in mind, Keep Away essentially adds on an extra 10 range and 30 reload speed. It also helps with your accuracy. One of my favorite perks in the game. And again, combine this with I Am Storm, you literally have on the front end a trait helping you with maintaining accuracy for free, just for being outside of 15 meters or more. And then you have Eye of the Storm, which procs as your health gets lower, which does substantially increase your target acquisition. This seems like a wonderful trait combination. However, I think one of the things that's really punishing this weapon is that its base default range is just so low. 31 meters would Keep Away, although doable, still very much lacks against the best hand cannons out there. Allstringer is not only a craftable hand cannon, but it has a ton of stats that's greatly boosting its range, kicking it up over 35 meters. Then you have Palindrome. I know, I got rid of my God Roll Pally, but had I actually kept it, it had max range, it was a wonderful weapon, and it too can reach up to 36 meters. Now keep in mind, those hand cannons both have rangefinder. That's really what's boosting it, and the same thing applies to Rose. But even Rose, if I was to take a route of say explosive payload, max range, with the range masterwork, you're looking at roughly 32.5 meters. Granted, most of us don't want to rock things like full bore, but even with something like Hammer Forge and a range masterwork and range stats, not including rangefinder, we're still hitting close to 32 meters. So understand guys, Epochal here has got some fierce competition, especially in the range department. But how does it perform within its range? Because that's really what I wanted to know. You know, Thorn, for instance, has terrible range, but up close, Thorn will eat you up, will eat you alive. Granted, I would still love a range bump to that weapon, but within that 29 meter range, Thorn is phenomenal. Personally, guys, after playing with Epochal, it just doesn't have what I want inside of PvP. And I love the design, guys. I wish it was what I wanted it to be, but a half decent roll Rose or an Ace of Spades or Allstringer or Palindrome, I'm just gonna use those hand cannons over this one. And believe me, it hurts to even say that because it is so sexy. It literally can change colors with photo finish. It's got a clean design. I like the reticle as well. But in those situations where I really wanted this hand cannon to help me, it just wasn't doing it the way other hand cannons could. So for PvP guys, it's just not it for me. Even when nanotech tracer rockets help you out, and yes, it can help you out because jumping from target to target, you can proc those tracer rockets, and they of course can allow you to 2 crit 1 body, which is very nice. But even with that help, this still wouldn't be a hand cannon I choose, guys. Just my personal opinion. I'm sure there'll be some PvP players that can make it work, but I just have other options I prefer. Now with that being said though, inside of PvE, this is a different animal. The weapon has incandescent and stats for all. Now the beautiful thing about incandescent, especially stats for all combined with it, is every time you actually get a kill and it spreads scorch to those nearby targets, that AoE effect procs stats for all. And stats for all simply just states hitting 3 separate targets increases weapon handling. Normally, you would actually have to shoot 3 separate targets individually. However, with Epochal here, you don't have to do that. Literally just kill 1 target, proc incandescent, spread that scorch, and there you go, guys. Stats for all is at work. And not only that, if you happen to hit a separate target with nanotech tracer rockets, that too can proc stats for all. And I don't know how many weapons you have with incandescent, but when we look at other weapons across the board, as far as I know, we really only have 2 hand cannons that can roll with incandescent. Zallow's Bane and Truss. And don't get me wrong, Zallow's Bane is very good. It's a very good hand cannon, especially if you got the craftable roll. But Epochal here, it has a play to be made. The stats for all bump is really, really nice. The constant spread there of scorch, and it's the nanotech tracer rockets that's the cherry on top. That in combination with the artifact mods, I was actually really liking how this hand cannon was performing. But I will say the way I look at this weapon is it feels like another ritual weapon. Considering it's a static roll, that's exactly what it feels like. And again, Bungie's philosophy with ritual weapons is they're not supposed to be this say all end all. Again, they're stepping stone weapons. They're essentially the weapons that can get you to that god roll or to that craftable roll or adept weapon. And I can say this hand cannon definitely can do that. But again, there are superior options out there, even on the PvE side of things. And I definitely did like it inside of PvE. I can see myself using this weapon. It's also got a good max size of 11. And again, stats for all is so easy to proc here with that combination of incandescent and tracer rockets. Inside of PvE, in a solar surge environment, I can see myself using this hand cannon. More so than I can see myself using it inside of PvP. So guys, that is Epochal integration. Let me know in the comments below what you think. We're going to be reviewing everything that's dropping with Season the Deep, as we have a ton to go over. Well, fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.